Welcome back to Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, and today we're going to be doing another battle scenario here, but this time not exactly historical. In this case, I previously did early on in the tabs videos, I did the Spanish Conquistadores versus the Aztecs, but I used the base Aztec. I used the base Renaissance Musketeers versus my custom Aztecs. This time it's my two custom factions, but this time it's going to be what if the British managed to get to Mexico before the Conquistadors somehow, or if, you know, the Conquistadors never turned up and the Aztecs just were alive up until the War of Independence and the Napoleonic Wars. So yeah, we're doing what if the British were the ones to take on the Aztecs instead. It's a bit of a weird battle when you look at the context here, but yeah, we're going to be doing the British here, Napoleonic British versus my Aztecs. So we have got a 30 block of British troops here in a line formation. I've got 10 grenadiers at the front, followed up by 20 redcoats, regular British infantry, in a 10x2 formation, followed by the colour party and the officer. So the grenadiers, as we can see here, they've got a throwable powder bomb, and they've got a musket, which they are one-handing because it's the best way I can replicate grenadiers here in tabs, even though you wouldn't be able to one-hand a musket like this, but here we go. And then of course the regular redcoats are just carrying a regular old musket. They've all got bayonets so that when the Aztecs do get close, they can stick them with the bayonets. And then of course the colour party is just a regular redcoat, but with the British colours flying. And then the officer is the man with the tricorn hat. He's got a flintlock musket, flintlock pistol, and he's got his British officer sword and his red sash to show that he's also an officer. And yeah, so we've got 32 in total British, but then if you take away the officer and the colour party, we have got 30 British effectives versus, well, 60 Aztecs, but then you take away the two Aztec standard bearers, then you get about 58 Aztec effectives. So we've got most of these guys are just regular Aztec warriors. They've got their Aztec shields, they've got their wooden clubs that have got obsidian teeth on them, as we can see here. They've got their elaborate headdresses and all that, and their elaborate Central American dress of the Aztecs. The clubbers, they're bigger. They've got their big club, which is once again just a giant wooden pole with the club and obsidian teeth on it as well. And of course, they've got a whole load of gold on them, being, you know, Aztecs. And they're, once again, this guy's also wearing an elaborate headdress. They're not exactly perfect. They're the best I can do in tabs. Obviously, they shouldn't have a chicken head on, but here we go. I can't exactly get eagle feathers and all that for the Aztecs. So yeah, we got these guys, and then right at the back we have got some Jaguar warriors, the elite Aztec warriors here. They've got their own clubs, and they're probably the best looking out of the Aztecs warriors that I've made here. But yeah, we got these guys, and then we've got some light Aztec archers sitting at the back here. So we've got what's that title of 8 Jaguar warriors, 8 Aztec archers, and then the rest of them are all just made up of regular Aztec warriors and clubbers, with the 2 standard bearers here being, well, just standard bearers. They've got an elaborate, once again, golden headdress on. They've got various native dress on, and they've got the running banner rather than the stay banner, which is what the British have got. So 30 British effectives versus 60 Aztecs. Who will win? Quite honestly, the British will get one volley off, and then the Aztecs will close in range, and then it will be down to the grenadiers, and down to whose troops are better in melee combat. So let's get into this. Let's get down behind the British lines here as they fire off all of their rounds, taking down a large swathe of the Aztec force there. I think they even managed to strike down an Aztec, a Jaguar warrior and one of the Aztec archers with that first volley of fire there. That's just showing the power of the musket. Obviously, though, we've still got a lot of Aztecs here due to the fact that they were hidden behind the wall, which is what I thought would happen. But they are going to keep on charging forwards. They have still got one banner bearer keeping their momentum up and going. Obviously the archers and the jaguar warriors are not going to travel as quickly. But in come the grenadiers with their powder bombs. These guys are going to be the things to really put pay to the Aztecs charging in here, but of course the Aztec archers are going to start coming in, and those redcoats are not going to give them a lot of protection at all from the from the arrows. But even so, the grenadiers have done their work. Only a couple of Aztec warriors have actually got in here, have got into the British lines, and they're getting quickly skewered by just many many redcoats with their bayonets. Although the clabbers are going to start doing some work here. Obviously, we've got to hope that the grenadiers do not grenade their own people, which is definitely something that can happen. The grenadiers have only got a 5-second cooldown on those grenades, and if they do decide to chuck it into the British lines here, that's not going to be the best. They have managed to take down one clubber, although the clubber himself did manage to take down. Oh, down goes a grenadier. They did manage to take down a redcoat as he charged in here. Obviously, by the looks of it here, the Aztec archers have reloaded, and the British, by the looks of it, are starting to reload as well as they shoot down this clubber. But as the last few grenadiers at the front row start to go down from the archers, it looks like they are starting to reload again as the jaguar warriors are finally getting in range. Well, or at least starting to come to the front here of the British lines. Very nice snipe there, manages to take out a jaguar warrior and an archer behind him, and the same for that guy. It's always good when the musketeers here can get a collateral on these Aztecs, and by the looks of it, the line has reloaded again. Down goes another one. Down goes the remaining jaguar warriors, and there was a jaguar warrior caught up on some archers there, but the archers are starting to get shot down. Two of them just went down there. It's just this guy left. How long can he last? He's pulling back an arrow. Can his arrow get through the air by the time a British man reloads? Or aims at him, because there is a grenadier standing up right there. In goes his arrow. Let's see if the arrow can arc true, and it can, right in the face, taking down a redcoat. By the looks of it, they have lost the standard bearer at some point. Looks like, the standard bearer has died, possibly from the final volley of arrows that the Aztec archers managed to get off, and the officer is now readying the men as they've pulled into a slightly different line formation, but they've pretty much just pulled together their resources, and they're just in one cohesive line rather than multiple rows. And we've still got one redcoat who's a bit stuck right there. And the archer is probably going to be able to get off one more arrow, and he'll probably be able to take down one of these regulars, but that will probably be the last arrow he fires indeed. Here he goes, pulling back, and come on, loose it off. Pew pew, there it goes. And let's see, is he going for the officer? The demoralizing effect, yes he is. And he takes him down. Hit to the shoulder, taking down the officer. Of course, the redcoats are not going to stand for that. There's still a grenadier actually as well. Still one grenadier. That'll be the last thing he ever does, I reckon. Let's speed it up. Yeah, there he goes. Finally, someone manages to take him out. Looks like it might have been the grenadier who actually fired that. So there we go. We've still got about half of the British force left at a quick guess here, which is, there's still this guy flailing about, but still losing about 15 to 17 British versus about 60 Aztecs. That's probably numbers that you'd like to see. Obviously you'd like numbers that are better than that, but even so, if you just look at the ground, it's just littered with Aztec bodies. as they tried to close the distance, but they didn't manage it. As we can see, only a couple of the Aztec warriors actually managed to get into the British lines, and for the most part these British dead are all down to the Aztec archers, these blokes back here. So yeah, they definitely the British definitely won this one. So let's see what we can do for the Aztecs, which is mostly going to involve putting down a standard bearer, putting down a whole load of extra warriors, and some clubbers. There we go. 83 Aztecs. We can still do it more. There you go. 88 Aztecs. Let's put a banner bearer back there for them, just for the Jaguar warriors. And let's put down one more warrior right there. So, 30 British effectives versus 87 Aztec effectives. How will this go? Well, the British are probably going to lose this one now. I mean, there's a lot more Aztecs now. There's a third extra compared to the last time for the British to have to deal with here. That is definitely a lot more Aztecs, and they are once again shielded on this side now, as well as this side, from the main musket fire, which is going to come in here. It's still going to take out a lot of them, but after that, it's going to be easy pickings for the Aztecs. So, obviously, here they go. Off fires the Redcoats, firing their first volley, taking down a fair chunk of the Aztec force, but in they come. Now, the Grenadiers are going to be the ones to really take out the brunt of this Aztec force, because, of course, the front lines have fired, and as we all know, muskets, you get off about 2 rounds a minute. Because of the very, very long reload time and reload process of the musket. And so, in comes the first round of Aztec archers, and they're going to start taking out some of the Grenadiers, which is good for the Aztecs, because that means less powder bombs are going to be chunked into these front rows of Aztecs. Oh, the officer, I think, just fired there, but in goes one of the first grenades. Yeah, in goes another one. Down goes a Redcoat, actually. The arrow missed the Grenadier and hit the Redcoat, but in goes another powder bomb. Chuck it in. That's probably going to take out a nice amount of the Aztecs. They're going to take out at least 3 of them. By the looks of it, going to take out these clubbers back here. No, it didn't. It actually only chucked them in the air and did some residual damage. In comes the clubbers. Oh, charging in, takes out a Grenadier. And yeah, the Aztecs are now getting in and amongst the British. And it's going to be down to musket and bayonet versus big wooden club. That's what it really comes down to here. In charges a Jaguar warrior, hitting the Grenadiers. Oh, arrow flicks past. Oh, in they come. Yeah, they're really charging in. And of course the Eagle warriors are now actually getting involved as well, hitting these British forces. Looks like the standard bearer's down. Oh, the officer, yep, he's dead. No big surprise there. Oh, down goes a Redcoat. Yeah, the Aztecs are definitely going to be able to take out the British this time. Although there was a nice stab. Didn't manage to take out the Aztec warrior. This one did, though. Some nice stabs from the... oh my god, just look at the press of Aztec warriors that are coming in there. We've still got all the standard bearers as well for the Aztecs. Yeah, the British definitely are not going to be able to, oh god, reload their muskets in time for this. Yeah, down goes another Redcoat. We've still got one there. We've still got this one which got chunked over here. But I think, was that one of them just fired? I think that was. Or it was a Grenadier chucking a grenade. Either one, but I don't think a Grenadier's still alive in this mess. So, oh, he just fired there. Don't think he managed to take out anyone though. He probably had his musket pushed to the side, and they've already dealt with the Redcoat that was under here. No big surprise, and in they charge. God, look at them go. Look at them go into these Redcoats. And is an arrow going to deal with him? Nope, both arrows missed. And in comes the crush. I don't know how this man's still alive, if I'm perfectly honest. In goes the shield, and yeah, down he goes finally. But yeah, so as we can see, the Aztecs definitely fared better this time. Obviously, they did still lose a bunch of their own forces, but as we can see by the scrum that's happening as they try and be the last one to kill this final British Redcoat, yeah, the Aztecs definitely won this one. They lost a couple of archers and a couple of jaguar warriors to the opening volley, but otherwise they have still got 6 of their 8 archers left. They've still got a bunch of their clubbers, a bunch of their eagle warriors, and they've still got a bunch of their regular warriors as well. It's not to say that the British didn't kill some of them when they actually got in amongst them. As we can see, we've got a warrior there, we've got 3 warriors killed here, some more warriors killed here, as well as a couple of clubbers actually, which have actually got higher health than the regular Aztec warrior, I do believe. But they didn't manage to take out any of the jaguar warriors, which I'm not surprised at. And yeah, of course, the officer didn't really do much. He just sort of died, as did the standard bearer. But even so, the grenadiers did take out a couple of grenades, but the opening volley of arrows that came at them did take out some of their number, which did diminish their grenades a little bit. So yeah, definitely second time round, just overwhelming forces did manage to take out the British here. So what if we were to try one last thing then with the British and see? I mean, just look at the cost difference. Look at the cost difference between the British and the Aztecs here. The Aztecs just had a far higher cost even with the first round, and they just absolutely were demolished. So yeah, let's see if we can't do something for the British here. So for the British, what I've done, as you saw, I got rid of the archers for the Aztecs, but what I've done for the British is I have given them some Royal Marines on either flank of their main central force. So we've got 12 Royal Marines on this side, 12 Royal Marines on this side, which means another colour party, just to split them up so that they actually stay in their line formation. And I've also given them a British commander as well. He's there with his officer's sword, and his big black overcoat, against the Aztec force, which I have left unchanged. This has, of course, bumped up the British forces to 58, which, if you take away the 4 back here, you've got 54 effectives, and then minus the Aztec archers, you've got 79 now, or actually no, 78 Aztec effectives here. And from where the Royal Marines are placed, as we can see, they could hopefully get some shots on these guys, which are hidden partly behind the wall, because as we can see from where they are, they've actually got a very good shot looking over here, bang, straight into the sides over here, which should hopefully take down some of the Aztecs. And of course, the Aztecs, now that they don't have their archers, will mean that the Grenadiers can unleash all of their grenades at the Aztecs. So let's set this in motion. Royal Marines, and just look at that power of the musket. I just love seeing the smoke that comes from the muskets after they fired. So the Royal Marines, they have got slightly more health than your average redcoat, and they also reload their muskets slightly quicker, being elite seaborne forces. So the reason that the Royal Marines are here is probably because the British have got their force in, the Bay of Yucatan or something, and they are, and the Royal Marines have just been brought onto the land to support the landing party, which is our original British force. So they are now coming in range of the Grenadiers, who are going to start lobbing their powder bombs. In they go, lobbing these in. Hopefully, one of them just actually got struck by it. He's there. Oh, and there's 3 grenades down there as well for them. That's really going to put pay to some of them. Oh, the officer fired, but he missed. Yeah, I also gave the British a commander, like I said. So of course the Grenadiers are starting to put their grenades in, but they've killed a couple of the clubbers there actually. But the Grenadiers are now starting to get attacked by the Aztec forces, which are still oncoming, even though they have lost a large part of their number. A grenade actually went off pretty close to the British force there, but it doesn't look like it did all too much, which is good. And by the looks of it, the Aztecs, yes, that's a lot of clubbers coming in for these guys, taking down a Royal Marine. Yeah, shortly, yeah, they've taken down some of the Royal Marines there. Getting into the Redcoat force, the main central Redcoat force here. Looks like they have taken down one of the colour parties on this side, and this side is probably not going to last for too much longer. I'm perfectly honest, I think one of the Royal Marines just tried firing a musket. This guy is also going to try fire. Is he going to get a kill? No, I think he's just fired anyway. No, he's dead, so it doesn't really matter. The Royal Marines on this flank, though, have actually finished reloading, so they're starting to fire. They're being pretty ineffective, though, due to the close-range firing that's happening. Oh, they did just manage to take down one of the clubbers there. Another one missed. Oh, one of them took down a Jaguar warrior, and another one, which then also killed off an Aztec warrior in the back there. That was a pretty good volley, actually, from the Royal Marines. Obviously, this side has fallen now. Oh, a grenadier. The grenade bounces off the shield of the Jaguar warrior, who kills off one of the Redcoats, and the grenade sends them flying sideways. Actually manages to kill one of the... Oh, they managed to kill one of the Aztec standard bearers, and it looks like they actually managed to fend off that Jaguar warrior. Oh, very nice shot from a grenadier, actually. Took out a clubber and an Aztec Jaguar warrior. Away he dodges the officer, and the commander here tangling with one of the regular Jaguar warriors. Off he dodges, and the Jaguar and the Aztec warrior actually manages to kill off one of the Redcoats. But we have still got the officer, we have still got the commander. Oh, is this guy going to manage to get off a nice swing into one of these Redcoats? Oh, he's starting to get bayoneted though, so I don't know. Yes, he does. He manages to kill off one of the Redcoats there. Looks like the officer is starting to get involved. The colour party is actually still alive, which is very nice. Oh, down goes one of the Aztec warriors, and the officer actually did something. The officer actually managed to kill one of the clubbers. That's probably one of the few times the officer's actually been useful here. Oh, nice shot from a regular. One of the Redcoats managed to take down that Aztec warrior. And down goes a Jaguar warrior. The Aztec warrior here as well actually managed to die as well. Grenadier lobbing his grenade, hoping to kill off this last Jaguar warrior, but it looks like a Royal Marine took the kill there. Yeah, that's a shot from a Royal Marine. Managed to kill off the Jaguar warrior, and well, the British force is definitely diminished, but yeah, they definitely managed to clear up this Aztec force. It was pretty touch and go, especially over here, but luckily the volleys from the Royal Marines actually did help, manage to help out the British force here. And I mean, for a bonus, we've got the officer and the commander still alive, which is a bit like the Centurions all over again. You never expect them to survive these battles, but when they do, it's very good. But yes, officer, commander still alive. We've still got, how many? 1, 2, 3 Redcoats. We've also got 1 Grenadier. We've still got 1 colour party, and we've still got all of the Royal Marines on this side as well, which is very good. And as we can see, the opening volley here did manage to take out a large amount of the Aztec warriors, and they also managed to take down one of the Aztec standard bearers as well. But that didn't really stop the impetu of the charge of the Aztecs here. Did manage to take down 2 Jaguar warriors with the opening volley though. Actually no, they did manage to take out 3 Aztec warriors this time with their opening volley, which is very nice. And the Grenadiers did manage to take out, I think, a couple of units here, but it wasn't all too great due to the speed which they were going at. They sort of ran past the powder bombs before they were able to go off. But yeah, this was just a bit of a massacre on this flank for both the British and the Aztecs, really. I mean, as we can see, there's a load of Jaguar warriors actually dead here. We've got 1 dead there, another one there, another one there. We've got 1 here, which died to a Royal Marine. We've got another one here, which died as well. Yeah, and then we've just got clubbers and warriors and everything all over here. But yes, Royal Marines did manage to save the day for the Redcoats here, as they came in for backup, and yeah, against the Aztec force here, which outnumbered the British in both cost and manpower, they definitely managed to do it for them. So yeah, if we just measure up in comparison with that first round, when it was just the Aztecs versus just the Redcoats and the Grenadiers in the very first battle, There you go. It was 32 British versus the 68 Aztecs, and it was 8,000 cost versus 3,200 cost. Which, yeah, definitely when it comes to native combat versus top of the line muskets, the muskets tend to come out on top. Who'd have seen that one coming? But yes, I'll thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this a bit of a silly scenario here in these silly battles. But yes, I'll thank you all for watching, and goodbye.